Let's get to a Diddy trial update. Who?
Well, Mario, week 5 was full of bombshells. Diddy's ex-girlfriend, identified only as Jane, wrapped her testimony yesterday. And today, the prosecution announced they could rest as early as Wednesday. All this as Kanye makes a surprise appearance at the court this morning.
Kanye, why'd you show up today?
Chaos outside the courtroom as Kanye made a surprise appearance today, only staying a few minutes as he reportedly never entered the main courtroom. Legal analyst Misty Marris has been in court for most of Combs' trial and says even with today's shocker, the case is far from over.
Combs is facing 2 counts of sex trafficking, which requires engaging in commercial sex through force, fraud, or coercion. The prosecution started strong with Cassie Ventura's testimony and, of course, that horrible 2016 video. Her testimony and the aspects relating to the force, psychological, physical abuse that she suffered was really helpful for the prosecutors and is central to their case. It also set the tone for the rest of the prosecution's case. Basically, prosecutors want the jury to look at all of the other evidence and all of the other witnesses through the prism of Cassie Ventura, and they did that very successfully. The second charge of sex trafficking relates to Jane. There are a lot of credibility issues, and a lot of that is coming out through text messages and communications that Combs and Jane had during the time they were dating, which was very recently. It also came out that Combs is still paying for Jane's $10,000 a month apartment, that they entered into a love contract in 2023 where they agreed upon their respective roles in the relationship. All of that is going to undercut the argument of force, fraud, and coercion. The prosecutors have not wrapped up their case yet, so there's still more to come. But as of now, it's really going to be the jury's factual finding about whether or not Cassie and Jane were subjected to force, fraud, and coercion as opposed to a very bad domestic abuse relationship. As far as racketeering, to me, the prosecutors have not gotten there yet. They've shown a pattern of racketeering activity. That's 2 crimes that were committed within 10 years of each other. But what prosecutors have not established yet, in my view, is the criminal enterprise. One open question for me is whether we're going to hear from Christina Courtroom. This was Combs' chief of staff, nicknamed KK. Prosecutors have identified her as a co-conspirator. We don't have the witness list for next week, but I think prosecutors may end with her testimony, and maybe that's what wraps up the racketeering charge.
Well, next week we should see the defense begin to present their case.